Hey mathematicians, we are going to do some word problems today with ordering integers. So let's go ahead and look at number 1. The diagram shows the coldest recorded temperatures for several cities. So we've got -11, -10, -12, we've got a 0 and a -3. So I notice they're all negative except for the 0. Okay, it says which city has the coldest recorded temperature? Okay, so we have to think about what the coldest means. So does that mean we're looking for the least or the greatest temperature? The least or the greatest temperature is the coldest. Okay, it's going to be the least. So we're looking for the least temperature. And I notice that I have all negatives except for the 0. So is 0 the smallest or are negatives smaller? Yep, negatives are smaller. Okay, so it's not going to be the Wallops Island. So I've got -11, -10, -12, and -3. So when I think about it, right, I want the least. The least is going to be the number that's most to the left. Or we could say it's going to have the most negatives. Which one has the most negatives? And if we look at it, -12 would be the most negatives. Because there's a -11, -3. This one's -3. Norfolk was pretty warm, right? So Richmond at -12 would have had the coldest temperature because it's the least. It has the most negative. It's the furthest down the number line on the negative side. Okay, so Richmond would be the coldest. All right, number 2. The apparent magnitude of an object. Okay, I don't know what this means. Hopefully it'll explain it to me, right? I don't know what apparent magnitude is. All right, the apparent magnitude of an object measures how bright the object appears to the human eye. Okay. A negative magnitude identifies a brighter object than a positive magnitude. A negative magnitude. So I don't really know what magnitude means, but I know negative, right? So negative identifies brighter than positive. Okay? So we've got different objects here. The approximate apparent magnitude. Okay, so I've got some negatives, a positive, got 0, I've got some negatives. Okay? What is the correct order of the objects from brightest to faintest? All right, so it's asking me to put them in order. So I know when I put things in order, I'm either going from least to greatest or greatest to least. So I have to figure out what brightest to faintest means. Does that mean I'm going from least to greatest or am I going from greatest to least? Okay, so I need to look for brightest or faintest somewhere else in here. Okay? All right, so let's go see if we can find either brightest or faintest. It's got to give me more information because I don't know, right? All right, so the apparent magnitude of an object is how bright, okay? It's how bright an object appears to the human eye, okay? A negative magnitude identifies a brighter object. So negative is brighter than positive. And I'm going to go from brightest to faintest. So brightest must be negative, and faintest must be positive. So if I'm going from negative to positive, am I going from least to greatest or greatest to least? That's right, we're going from least to greatest. Okay, those are cursive, by the way. You want to write them in print. So we're going from least to greatest. All right, so remember least to greatest, if we have our number line, right? Numbers that are more negative or smaller are the ones that are further to the left on the number line. All right, so notice my answer choices has the words. Okay, so I'm going to, as I put these in order, I'm going to put the abbreviation underneath it. All right, so I know negatives are smaller than positives, so no, that one's going to be the largest. And then 0 splits them in half, so I'm just going to be looking at -19, -13, -27, and -5. And I know the more negative a number is, the smaller it is. So the smallest number is going to have the most negative. So that's the sun. So I'm going to put -27, which that kind of makes sense, right? That the sun would be the brightest. So -27, and then -19 or -13. So which one is more negative? -19 or -13? -19. So that's the 100 watt. And then -13 will be next. It's the full moon. I love the moon. So pretty. Think about how bright it is outside when the moon is full. And then our only other negative is Venus. So Venus is at -5. And then we have 0 and 4 left. We know 0 splits our positives and negatives in half, right? So it's right in the middle. So that one would go next. And that is AG. I have no idea what that means, but guess what? It doesn't matter, right? And then 4 would be the greatest. I don't know what that is either, but that doesn't matter, right? We can still put these numbers in order. All right, so we've got the sun. Oh, wait, let's check and make sure before we do that. All right, so remember, if they're in order, we should be able to go from -27 all the way to, that's a 4, all the way to 4, straight line on the number line and not go back and forth, right? So -27 would be way over here, and then we would come to -19, then -13 would be here, -5, then 0, then 4. Okay, so that means we have it in the right order. All right, so the sun would be first. So sun, then 100 watts, then full moon, then Venus, then the AG word, that's AC. All right, so let me go to this one. Got the sun, got the 100 watt, got the full moon, got Venus, then I've got AG, and then AC. So my answer is D. Okay. Oh, this is like a guess and check one. All right, it's like a puzzle one. It's fun. All right, so Ben is thinking about a certain integer that is less than -5, greater than -12, and closer to -12 than -5. Oh my goodness. So which of the following integers could Ben be thinking about? Okay, so there's a couple ways we could think about this, right? Like we could think about it with a number line, right? So I think I'm going to do that. Okay, so I'm going to start with 0, and then it would go -1, -2, -3, -4, but I'm just going to start with -5. All right, so then it would be -6, -7, -8, -9, -10, -11, -12. Right, so let's make sure. -6, and I mean -5, -6, -7, -8, -9, -10, -11, -12. Okay. So less than -5 and greater than -12 means it has to be in here. Right? Closer to -12 than to -5, so it's going to be closer on this side. All right, so which of the following integers could Ben be thinking about? Okay, so where would -4 be? Well, actually, I want you to think about it. See if you can figure it out first before I go over it, okay? So pause the video and see if you can figure it out. Okay, so -4 would be here, so it's not in between, so it's not A. -6 would be here. I'm going to put a B above that. Okay, so I know that -6 goes with answer choice B. All right, -10. So -6, -7, -8, -9, -10 is C. And -14, that would be over here somewhere, right? Because this would be 13, this would be 14, this is D. Okay, that's definitely not right. Okay, so closer, so less than -5, B is less than -5, and C is less than -5, and they're both greater than -12, but it's closer to -12. So which one is closer to -12, C or B? Yep, C. So that's our answer. Oh, that was fun. I like figuring ones out like that. Okay, number 4. Oh, this one doesn't have hardly any words. That's nice. All right, number 4 says, order the following integers from least to greatest. Least to greatest. Which option shows the integers above in the correct order from least to greatest? Now, before I start doing this, I see something that I need to make sure that I remember. Do you see something that you need to like your little brain should be saying, ooh, what's that? What's that? Yeah, right here, right? You remember what that is? Okay, that is the absolute value of -4. So how far away is -4 from 0? What's that distance? Okay, so this is equivalent to 4. So the absolute value of -4 is equivalent to 4. So as you think about this, you have to be thinking about that. Not as a -4, but as a +4. Because when you simplify this, that's what it's equivalent to. Okay, so go ahead, pause the video, and go ahead and put these in order from least to greatest. Okay, so least to greatest that's going to be C. -10 has the most negatives, and then -3. Remember, 0 goes right in between the positives and negatives, so make sure 0 is in between the positives and negatives. Then you have 1, 3, the absolute value of -4 is 4, and then 9. Okay? Okay, good job. All right, number 5. List them in order from least to greatest. So I'm going least to greatest. Oh, look at that. We've got those absolute values again. So make sure you're being careful of those, okay? Go ahead and do that one by yourself. Pause the video. Do it by yourself. Okay, least to greatest. I believe the answer is going to be D. -6 is definitely going to be the smallest. And then 2, the absolute value of -3 is a +3. And then 4. That one wasn't too bad. All right. Number 6, again, I want you to pause the video and try number 6 by yourself. Okay, so they're asking us from greatest to least. How should Samson correct the order? So he did not put this in order from greatest to... What? No, that's little. That needs to go in the back, right? That's a negative, not a positive. So he needs to... Yeah, the last number should be -282. It is less than -8. I'm going to agree with this one. I'm going to say that's true. But I'm going to read the rest of them because I want to make sure I didn't make a mistake, right? The third number should be -200. No, because that's way smaller. It's way more negatives than that. It's not greater than. It's less than. So that one's false. The second number should be -8. It is less than... Oh, so they want to put this here. Nope. It would almost be least to greatest, but then you'd have to flip these two. So no, that's false. The first number should be 55. It is less than 178. Well, 55 is less than 178, but we're putting it in order from greatest to least. So that would be false. So our answer is A. All right, number 7. Go ahead, pause the video and try it by yourself first. All right. So we are looking at Eric and Melinda. So we need to pull out Eric. Eric is -5 and Melinda is -15. All right, I'm going to flip these around because I'm thinking about my number line, right? And then this one would be Melinda owes more and Eric owes less. So this is, okay, anyway, because the least to greatest, thinking about the number line, right? Okay, so which child owes more money than Eric? So they owe more than $5, but less than $15. Basically, they're just asking us to see which one's in between. So -8 would definitely go here, right? You can even think about it on your number line, right? Here's our -5. So -8 would be in between. -2 would be up here. Nope. 8 positive was not going to fit in between. That positive is not going to fit in between. So it's going to be Francis. Francis should be about right here. All right. Number 8. Again, pause the video and give it a try by yourself first. All right, so lowest to highest is asking us to go least to greatest. So that is going to be, yeah, I've got to write this out. So that's the smallest because it's the most negative. That's neon. And then argon will be next because it is the next most negative. Then krypton. And last is radon. All right, so N, A, K, R. Oh, look, they switched those. Let me make sure. Negative 189, yep. It's got more negatives than negative 156. So yes, so this is right. Neon, argon, krypton, and radon. Right, good job, guys. All right, number 9. Again, pause the video. Try it by yourself first. Okay, so it says, which planets in the table have extreme surface temperatures that are less than those on Mars? Okay, so here's where they talk about extreme surface temperatures. And then here's where they talk about Mars, right? So which planets in the table have extreme surface temperatures that are less than those on Mars? So I'm looking for something that is less than negative 187 degrees. So think about what numbers would be less than negative 187 degrees. Is that numbers that are closer to 0 or further away from 0? Less positive or more positive for them to be less than? I mean, not positive, negative. Yeah, it would have to be have more negatives than this. So we need more negatives than negative 187. Okay, so this one, yep, that's more negatives than 187. Yep, 200 has more negatives. Negative 178, nope, that's not more negatives, that's less negatives. So these will be greater than, okay, because they're less negative. So we're looking at Mercury and Neptune. See how you have to think through what they're asking you for and what you're thinking about? Okay, especially when you're doing those negatives, you really have to think through. And remember that the negatives are opposite of the positives, okay? Oh, that's all of them. That was fast. Okay, so I hope that you really practice those. Remember, the only way to learn math is to do math. So I really do hope you practice those. All right. Good job ordering integers.